you getting yourself ready for our show?
Alrighty, guys. Bobby Roast Beef here with Jigs and Bigs. It's another Tuesday morning. We've got a brand new show here, hot off the freaking heel. Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. This week's show, this week's Jigs and Bigs, it was the Old Glory Outdoors / Hookset Hoodlums open house. It happened in East Brookfield. It's a town that will not be the same after this Saturday, folks. I got out on a little bit of open water, believe it or not. Sean the Fisherman did some preseason prep on his end, got some things together. We got some Chicopee shit for FTG this week, and our own Shags29, the one and only Nate Chagnon. Dude, he's going to preach the virtues of using fresh baits. Fresh baits! Only the freshest baits around. Grab yourself a hot cup of Cots tea and buckle up there, jig heads, because we've got your weekly fix of Jigs and Bigs, and this week it is coming in friggin' hot. I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys are freaking ready. It's Bobby Roast Beef. It's Sean the Fisherman. Let's get to it. What the fuck is Cots tea? What the fuck is Cots tea?
Cots tea, not Cots tea.
Oh, I thought she said Cots tea. I was like, oh, all right.
Cots tea is another beverage altogether.
I thought it was a game that you played with dice.
We're gonna start this episode up by opening up these beef curtains. I tried something a little different today, and we're having some fun with it because usually I give you bullet points if I remember for an intro. Yep. This time I actually wrote you an intro out, and boy, you put some passion into it there.
I did.
That was all right.
I was feeling it. That Fresh Baits stuff. You know, I was talking with the guys from Fresh Baits at the show, and I mentioned. Do you remember there was a video of Dave Grohl in the studio? There was a time in Dave Grohl's life where he was as large of a coffee fiend as I am, and the video is called Fresh Pots. And he's in the studio, and he's like, I think he's in with Queens of the Stone Age or something. He's like, fresh pots. And he goes in and he's throwing shit around. He's just sloppily banging away on doing drum solos and shit like that. It was just absolutely crazy. And then come to find out much later, he was just I was a little overdoing it with the coffee. So coffee and I now have a very distanced relationship. We're getting by. But
I have not seen that, but I'll be looking for it now. Now it sounds like high entertaining stuff here,
or entertainment for when you're high. It's either way. It's entertainment that can't be beat. What a weekend! What a week in general. You can tell that spring is in the air. You know what I mean?
Unseasonably warm today for us up in Western Mass. We had 60 degrees right now.
Insane. It was, I know when the planning for this Old Glory Outdoors open house over there, we were looking at the weather, and initially, it was going to be even cooler than it was. I mean, it was in the 40s. It actually turned out to be pretty great for this time of year. But there was talk that there could be a washout. It might be rainy. It might suck, and it ended up all changing at the end of it. But that's just how March is this time of year. That's just how the weather works. Gets kind of wild, but things have been freaking nuts, man. This week was an interesting one. It was nice to kind of be back and into the regular swing of things as far as work and everything goes. This is a weird time of year where I'm sort of getting into the swing of those last handful of meetings for my first batch of weddings that are coming up in the late spring as we get into summertime. So I've got that kind of stuff going on, but trivia also starts to pick up. And 3 nights this week, I had rooms of people with over 20 teams. It was really good. This is a really good week.
trivia fucking picked up Friday night, let me tell you.
For you, it picked up very well. Friday night, you had yourself a fucking night, dude.
I cleaned up, and then my youngest came with me. Usually it's my oldest. My oldest was crashing at a buddy's house.
Yep.
So my youngest came with me for the trivia and shenanigans, and he placed fourth. So we almost...
You guys almost brought 2 gift cards home that night.
Well, that would have been wonderful. That would have been great. That would have been a first-time event. Yeah. He had a good time.
I had an instance happen that evening that kind of was a little unnerving. Like every year that I continue to do this, like the new players that start following me and start playing around, they seem to get younger and younger and younger. You know what I mean? And that one large table, there was like 4 teams playing in this one big table that was right next to me. They're awesome. Like Sergucci Snack, Butt Hurt. What's one of the other? Brunettes have more fun. Brunettes get the job done is what it is. That's what it was. Like they're awesome. They get out there, but they just get younger and younger. And do you remember the question that I asked? I almost had like a mini little midlife crisis in the middle of one of these questions. It was the one that I asked about the television show The Equalizer.
Yes, I remember it. No one got it.
But you're old enough, like me, you remember that show. It was not a popular show in the 80s.
I don't even remember it, man.
Oh, I remember like the title. I remember seeing stuff and being like, who the fuck watches this shit? Like, I don't even know if it had the popularity of like, you know, any of those 80s cop dramas, Hill Street Blues or anything like that. But it was kind of in that sort of vein. And like, it's funny, you know, like I'm sitting there and I'm like, you guys, seriously, you guys don't know this? I'm like, and I gave out that clue that it wasn't the A team. So I was like, I think the special agent thing kind of made it tricky where they're like, well, if it's the A team, there'd be more people. So I threw that out there. And I look over at this table and they're just like, dude, we're all conceived in the mid 90s. Like, we're like, we have no idea what it is. And I look over at you and you're just like, I don't know. And I'm like, what? And Greg is like, it's a fucking Equalizer in the bar.
What year was Equalizer running? What years did it run?
It was early 80s. I want to say it was like 80, 82, something like that. 83, maybe even as late as 85.
So things I remember from that block of like, I think it was Saturday nights. I mean, we didn't even have cable at that point. I don't think we got cable in our house until, maybe 86, 87, somewhere around there.
We were balling. You know, back in the early 80s. My dad was making that sweet City Sealer money.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were living it up.
Yeah, we had the cable box with the little plastic triangle and you grind it over to like different spots.
We got that too, but that was probably 86. I mean, maybe 85 at the earliest. I can't remember, but
yeah, I mean, go back that early 80s. I mean, we were very young children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think.
But no, I fucked that up. I took it. That's all I'm worried about. I took the taco.
That's what matters. Yeah, nobody got that, so there are no points lost, nothing like that. Got a couple of comments in here. There's a dozen guys on a local pond over near me yesterday heard 20 inches of ice in Saginaw. Really? Saginaw Bay. Really? No shit.
That's Michigan, right?
Yeah. And I saw that Berkshire Bass was on Instagram today doing an ice check on... Shit, what lake were they on?
Onata, Pontuzic.
Buell. It was Buell.
Okay.
And there was still like a good 8.5, 9 inches or something. It was like, they're like, yeah, so we still got good ice up here. So, I mean, you know, if you're out in the shears, there's ice fishing to be done. You know, there 100% is, but... Yeah, it's just bananas, dude. But as far as fishing this week, I kind of my main mission in life was to get my bait casting reels over to Old Glory Outdoors because they're due for a good cleaning, especially that Corrado. It's lived a life. It needs some TLC after not even this last freaking season. I haven't cleaned it actually since I bought it, other than when I dumped it, I took it all apart and cleaned it out. But you know, it could use a little bit of TLC. And the Concept A's as well, same deal. So when I was over there, I was looking around at some options for a reel to pick up for my big swim bait combo that I'm putting together. And I made a decision. I think what I'm actually going to do is go with another 13 fishing reel. I'm going to do a Concept A3. I had a right-hand retrieve over there. I've kind of done a little bit of homework on it. I like it. I think it's got pretty much all the features that I'm looking for. So we're going to get that sucker all set up. So I'm waiting on a left-hand retrieve. because I'm, that's my preference. I identify,
That model does have a left-handed retrieve, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
In fact, what's cool about that is it comes with both the standard like paddle style handle, and it's also got a power handle that comes included with it. So if you lean one way or another, or if you prefer one to the other for large baits or something like that, it already has it, which is actually kind of cool. But it's pretty sweet looking reel. I was playing around with the right hand retrieve, and I'm just like, man, this is gonna be sweet.
Awesome.
So yeah, I put that together, and I picked up a couple items because you can't go and just not peruse the racks of amazing gear there. So stocked up. I got a couple of they had some colors that I've been looking for actually for 6 Sense Provoke 106s. I got a couple of colors that I was looking for that, and a couple of square bills too from 6 Sense that I wanted to grab is just to have on hand because we're getting into that window, that time of year where it's almost go time. It's almost go time, and then Thursday, I was debating going and taking a ride to one of the local rivers to try to find some open water. All the ponds and stuff, they're all still iced up, and it's not safe ice locally necessarily, at least around on the edges. Not at all, but we're making it happen. We're making it happen. We're close. I think actually after this week we might see some open water.
Well, I'll tell you what. Just let me jump in on that real quick. Tonight on my way home, I went through by a body of water that is my canary in the coal mine for melting.
Yep.
And it was about 60 to 70% open.
Really? Wow, that's great.
I even made mention of it to one of my kids. That's a real good sign. Hey, look at that. Game on.
They're like, yay.
So, I'm sure the Cape and the southern part of Mass, southeastern part of Mass is getting ready to rock. So if I had time, unfortunately I don't this coming weekend, I would get out there. I think I'm going to be devoting my Saturday.
Yep.
Is it my Saturday? It is my Saturday to getting my wiring done in my kayak. I have a whole bunch of work to do. So that might be my day. I hope it's warm out,
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be nice. We got a few friends, a few of our jig heads jumping in. We got Fishing in the Six commented earlier. We got Nick jumps in, says, "What is up, guys? We're here making podcast greatness, and hopefully you enjoy it, Nick. We really do." Berkshire Brett chimes in as well. Says, "How is it? It's good. It's very good." Chimes in. He says, "I think it's 6 Sense. I just saw that they're making suspending lipless. Looks insane. I heard something about that, and it definitely piqued my interest because I'm like, it just sounds like an amazing kind of bait, But there's a lot of innovating that's kind of going on with 6 Sense as far as hard baits go. And I'm interested to see what happens. The issue is, like, as soon as they come in, they sell right out.
Yeah,
they go so fast. So you really gotta look for them. But I'll be going back to Old Glory to pick up my reels. And I messaged that guy. The fuck is his name?
I don't know who he is.
I don't know.
Fuck.
Yeah. But I messaged the owner, proprietor of Old Glory Outdoors, and told him, I was like, once that A3 comes in, I'll come in, grab all my reels, get all set up. Freaking psyched. Really, really looking forward to it. And then as far as like the rest of the week goes, it was a lot of like just getting things in order for the open house, which happened on Saturday, which was awesome. We'll go over the details over that momentarily. But what was your week like, Sean? How did things play out for you over on your end?
Well, little known, again, pulling back the fisherman curtains.
Yep.
Fisherman curtains. Is that what we do?
I think so. Yeah.
The curtains. We'll do that. The Sean curtains or the curtains. My wife is actually out of town for a little bit. Her father underwent a medical procedure that was serious enough, and it was planned. It wasn't an emergency. It wasn't a pop-up thing, but
that's always a good thing.
She and her sisters are kind of taking turns helping out with everything from the groceries to anything they need around the house. So she's out yonder in the Midwest for a little bit, a little spell. So I'm Mr. Mom for a while. So this week was a little busy, back into the thick of things, running the kids around. They're back from vacation. And I was able to, and it's kind of a couple day process, but I was able to take all of my tackle, my giant tackle bag, and then all of my plastic bags and lay them out, go through my records, which I'm going to get into in a little bit, see what has been hot for me over the past 2 years, and adjust what I'm carrying from there.
Yeah.
Because, as I've said, I always try to be efficient on the water. I KISS whenever I can. If I'm not catching fish on something, doesn't mean I don't try stuff, but I don't carry giant bags of shit. I have a couple things to try this year. They're waiting where they're supposed to be. But there's a lot of stuff I'll be clearing out of my box. It just hasn't turned up fish for me in the past couple of years. Yeah. Not to say it won't again, but
now it's you can't go into it planning like.
Yeah, correct. So I've been just being efficient, making a list like, okay, I have, certain plastics I need to restock, certain jig heads, whatever. Going through that, but it's kind of a quick process for me nowadays because really the heavy lifting is done going through my database. Yeah. And and something else we're going to talk about too is you and I, we talked about this. We touched on it very, very, very briefly. You that database is coming into play for me in a very, very different way this year because of the knockout tournament. And I touched on this the other day with you, and I said, I looked and I said, just off the top of my head, without looking at the database, I said, I'm preparing just in case, and I really, everybody who's in this knockout tournament should prepare yourself for 4 waters. You might go 4 rounds, and I think the 5th round might be decided by the directors. Okay? Yeah. Because fucking, I don't even want to talk about last year and deciding where the final round was. Oh, yeah. But so up to that point, it's going to be pick your spots, right? So I, just thinking about it, top of my head, wrote down 4 places I think that if I needed to turn up a bag of fish between 40 and 50 inches, I might be able to. Where you could. Even more than that. Yeah, you know what I mean? But I have to verify that. I have to look through, I have to filter all my shit by lake and see what I've been turning up in size of fish and say, okay, well, maybe I look at it and say, hey, this one, I could really fish this place first in April. And then when May rolls in, I've been doing well in May. This, water temps will be a factor. You never know. But like I said, I've got 4 laid out. I got to verify. And that's really where I concentrated this week. And then, of course, the open house. We were involved with an open house. It was great.
I want to go first off and say Zach he did a great job. He did a great job organizing this. This is his first time out doing this. Like, it was really, really good. Like, I like the fact that he had, a schedule set that, we could try to, make happen. We did really, really well overall with the open house. The seminar schedule, let's see. I made some notes myself because that's what I do. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total seminars lined up that were there. 3 of them happened. The first one, our guest had a change of schedule, wasn't able to make it, so things got pushed back, which was actually okay because it bought us a little bit of additional time. And I know you had places to go as well, so like you were in and then out. I was there for the duration, but I needed to be on the road ASAP once we wrapped. And it was actually after Nate Chagnon's seminar that things started to kind of slow down, and Todd had arrived, and it was just before things were wrapping up when he got there. He had to work beforehand, so it was definitely good to see Todd Grubb. I think that was his first time going to Old Glory, and he was just, he loved it. He thought it was cool. He's like, this place is freaking awesome, man.
I definitely want to echo what you just said about Zach, because when I got there, Zach and my guy, Scott, handed me a little bag. And I said, what's this? And they were like, thank you for helping us out and providing some content and doing the seminar today. And it was a nice little thank you grab bag.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, a couple little lures in it. And I said, well, thank you. You didn't have to do that. And I said, who picked these out? And they said, Scott. I go, God damn it, Scott. I don't want these colors. And I returned both.
Nice. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
It was good. Yeah, it was very good. So that was very nice of them. So thanks, guys.
That's awesome. Yeah, we did really, really well as far as like following the schedule and everything. And as far as people that we had there in attendance, we had Stretching Lines was there. We had Fresh Baitz. We had Klondike Custom Creations. Matt Thayer showed up. That was awesome to see him there. In fact, I will say this much. Like, I had a couple of real good friends who had popped in too. My friend Eric Dowd, who I think he was like episode 4 maybe of this show. Like, he was in that first batch of episodes. He had shown up and he's like, I've been getting up so early lately. He's like, I'm going to get down to the store nice and early. He's like, I got my eye on this one, the big bull shat. If they've got it, I'm going to buy. So he bought that. He already blew his paycheck. Like, he's set. And then we're hanging out, just catching up. I haven't seen him in a while. And Matt is setting up his table and he's got all these, and you know, Matt's baits, especially the wood baits. They're just
so nice, dude.
Gorgeous. They're just beautiful. And he's setting up the display and everything, and like Eric's just like, let me get your card, man. He's like, I'm gonna have you make some stuff for me. He's like, this looks amazing, and I'm like, well, we'll get you all hooked up. Oh God,
I took the time to put in a custom order with Matt. I said, here's what I'm looking for. Can you do this? He had something that is a pattern that I use, and I said, wow, you're doing that with this? I said, let's take a little twist, and this is the direction I'd like to go in, and I had a good conversation with him. He stuck around for the for my presentation. I'll tell you what, we had a few people watch my presentation. I think the people that watched it were really into it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not for everybody. I think it was a topic, and we'll be talking about in a little bit, that I think every angler can use. It's not like talking about a specific technique where if you talk drop shotting, there is a segment of the population, myself included, that doesn't drop shot. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to register, but I think what I talked about could be applied to every angler. And I'm going to back that up in a little bit, but Matt was watching that, and we talked a little bit. So we got a little something going on. A little something, little request was made.
Now,
so we'll see how this goes.
I don't know if if I even told you about this, actually. I know I shared something on Instagram about this, but so like, I listen to our podcast to quality control it, make sure. I don't think I've ever missed an episode. Like, just what I want to make sure what's going out to the people sounds exactly the way I intended for it to, just so nothing weird is going on or lets me sleep well at night. So I listen to that, but I listen to a bunch of other podcasts too. And one of the ones that I listen to is Tackle Talk, and I'm a big fan of Tackle Talk. I think Andrew Hayes does a great job with his show. I think it's really, really just overall fantastic. But I'm listening to this past week's episode of Tackle Talk, and it's titled Small Business Spotlight, 3 lure makers. And the first one he highlighted was Klondike Custom Creations.
Awesome.
Yeah, very cool. I was in the car. I was listening to it. My kids are loading up, getting their bags in and everything to go to school. And I'm sitting there and I hear it and I'm just like, I almost spilled my coffee all over myself. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome, man. Good for you. Because the thing is he didn't know. It's not like he submitted any of this. It's like Andrew bought this stuff, tried it and liked it. He bought a popper. I don't know if it was a custom popper or if it's something that he saw that was on Instagram or something or worked with him from that, but he bought a popper and was floored enough with the craftsmanship to be like, yeah, I want to feature this. So that was awesome. I think that's huge. So real cool way to do it. So that was really cool. Who else did we have there?
We had Ken and John and Joe Fournier. Ken Wood, John Ferreira, Joe Fournier, all MAKB Eastern guys. They came out to visit our esteemed MAKB sponsor, Old Glory.
That's awesome.
Obviously, the Hookset Hoodlum guys were there, all three of them.
Yeah.
Andrew brought his wife, which is very nice.
Very nice to meet. I mean, like, superstar TikToker, like, you can't even believe it.
She didn't seem ashamed of him in the least. It was amazing.
No, and I've heard that, like, they're one of those couples that are, like, really, they're a team. You know what I mean?
That's good.
Like, they're really a team. And Bill and myself, and I feel even you in a way, Sean, just to some extent, we can kind of agree that it's kind of like a unicorn thing. That's not very good.
Yeah. Usually there's one spouse or another that enjoys just a little bit openly and the other one's misery when ball busting happens.
Oh yeah, there's so much joy taken in that. But I mean, it was great to meet Jen. Also, Ken was in the house, which is that doesn't happen all that often. And while we're on, there was also Bog Hog. Baitz, Bog Hog Jigs. Bog Hog, and I want to apologize because I recorded all of the seminars, but it was only about halfway through Jay Haskin's seminar that I realized it made sense for me to go ahead and take a feed and record this. So from his seminar that was about jigs, I only really kind of got the Q&A session that I had followed. So I'm going to put some stuff together for Jay and because there's some good stuff that's in there, but also I want to have Jay on and talk about all kinds of stuff, jig related, jig adjacent, if you will. But he had the esteemed. I don't know if it was luck or what it is, but he had the first seminar, and it's like the crowd's not warmed up. Nobody's really anything. I mean, he went in cold, and I think he did a great job. I think everybody did a great job. It was awesome. There was a lot of good information there, and you kind of nailed it, Sean, when you were like, "Oh yeah, the people who were in there that were dialed in, they were really into it." When you're not talking about baits or like specific techniques or something that's like sexy in the fishing world, and you're talking about like number crunching and averages and trends, that stuff, it's the same thing in like the DJ world. It is like people, they want to know all about like mixers and speakers, and they want to know all about scratch techniques and mixing and everything. And then you're like, oh, but this is a way you can do use this program to get a good CRM, a good customer interaction. People are just like, nah, whatever.
No, we want to hear about drugs and hookers.
Exactly. That's exactly it. That's what everybody wants.
Who else was there? We had Grimlock. Josh Scaife was there.
Oh, yeah. We had Josh Scaife was there. I mean, if we're going to go through the laundry list, get ready. It's long. I mean, we had a lot of folks that were in there.
Let's go. Let's do it. We had all sorts of folks there.
Well, actually, let's do this. So Hookside Hoodlums had a little raffle going, right? Yep. And what they did was they had these, I don't know if they have like a printer cartridges on demand, if they're refilling them with like the sweat of like, farm workers or something, orphans. Yeah, I don't know what's going on at the Hoodlum compound, but they have enough bank to get an Abu Garcia Zada SP20 spinning reel that they raffled off, and they made some really, really nice raffle tickets to put out there, and it was a pretty good deal. I think you get a ticket for $10, or you could get 3 of them for $20, which was great. I had gone and got some new swag. I picked up this nice new hat, got a brand new, there's some new stickers that are available. They're freaking awesome. As well as this I think is really cool. It's almost like a fishing golf towel. It's a towel that's got a clip, and it's got their logo on there, but it's great, such a great idea to have on hand. You know what I mean? You get like fish slime and stuff. You clean your hands off, go and wash that. It's good, keeping things dry that you need to keep dry quickly, pliers, shit like that. So very, very cool. I was like, that's awesome. But they raffled off this amazing prize, and it was Tim O'Keefe.
MAKB West.
MAKB West member Tim O'Keefe. But what I thought was funny was, so I put this in my backpack. They're like, well, you're out that way. They're like, take it out to Tim. And I said, sure, absolutely. And Tim and I had already spoken on Instagram. But what's odd, I opened this up, and so Abu Garcia does this thing where they put their higher end reels in this little satchel, this little bag here,
sack.
It's a little velveteen sack, if you will. But what's funny is that the reel's not in here. It's a rock with a note that says, "Fuck you, Tim, Wild Bill." And I can't figure out, like, was this the plan all along? I'm not 100% sure. So
what's a gear ratio on that rock?
It's 6.2 to 1.
Wow, that's a hell of a rock ratio.
It's a very, very fast. Well, I mean, that's what the box says. I mean, if there was a reel in here,
that must be basalt. Granite's got a much higher gear ratio.
I think so. I think it does. Yeah, I think it does. Might be a little quartz mixed in there. Keeps it lubricated.
Ooh, you gotta watch that.
Fancy.
Hey, that's what Abu doesn't fuck around with the rocks.
They don't. They don't. Only the best rocks. Only the best rock. But it's funny, because it says, "Fuck you, Tim," and then there's a middle finger drawn out, and it's in like nail polish or something, which is kind of odd. So I don't know. But very, very weird. I don't know. It's puzzling. It's puzzling for everybody. Let's see what we got here. for comments. Fishing in the Stick says, I think he bought the same one that Lockwood bought at the 100th episode. The Klondike one. Oh, the black. It was a popper. It was a popper that he bought. I'm not sure if it was black and blue, but yeah, it was definitely a popper. And I guess apparently it's doing business. I mentioned earlier I got out on the water. I didn't catch shit, but it was nice to get out there. And I did bump into a local who was very excited to tell me that he thinks that this shad run is going to be huge in the river this year because the snow melt is going to cooperate, I guess, is from what he was telling me, that the snow melt's going to cooperate, the water levels ought to be ideal, and that the shad run should be crazy. And why am I excited about that? Because that's big predators come out then during the shad run. Just the big pike and stuff. So that could be a shitload of fun. So when everybody's out there throwing shad darts and stuff, your boy's going to be out there throwing some shit for pike. Try and get some big predators. That could be pretty fun. So,
jumping off topic while we're still continuing
away.
on in the just more meeting random folks passerby. I told you a story from the other day.
Yep.
I had pulled up at a light near my house. I was bringing one of the kids somewhere, and I pulled up, and the car in front of me at the light had a gigantic Make Mass Fishing Spots.
That's right.
Great again.
Yes.
Sticker. So I at the red light, I grabbed 2 Jigs and Big stickers, jumped out, knocked on the guy's window, said, "Hey man, we work with them. We love those guys. Here's 2 Jigs and Big stickers. We're a podcast. Are you working with them?" He said, "Yep, I do some time donate some time and help out and clean up." I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Justin." I said, "Nice to meet you, Justin." He yelled something else at me, and I waved at him because I didn't hear it because we were at a red light.
You were at a red light.
Back to my car.
Fucking Chinese fire drill style. Nice job, man.
Exactly.
So
Justin, there's a shout out to you, and I wanted to get that in before I forgot.
No, that's a good call.
Let's go forward and yet back in time.
Yeah.
To the old Glory open house. Now there was a couple folks there I spent some time with. So obviously I spoke with Tim at length. You know, John and Ken I talked with a little bit. Mm-hmm. Talked with Josh, Scott and Zach. I talked with quite a bit too because you know they work there. They were forced to be there, so they've got to smile and listen to my bullshit. I fulfilled the unspoken request of everybody there.
You drew a penis.
I did. You know who signed up for the flipping contest that happened in the garage?
Oh, that's right.
A well-drawn penis did.
Yes.
And when I said, "Scott, did you see who signed up for the contest?" He looked at it and said, "I can't read that." And I looked at him blankly and said, "It's a penis with 2 balls." And the next thing I know, Zach also thought it was a misspelling and crossed it out. So everyone who did not get to see the beauty of my Banksy penis drawn on the sign-up list, blame Zach.
God damn it, Zach.
One job. Zach and Scott.
God damn it. Flipping contest was amazing. It really was. Yeah.
A lot of crowd participation for that. There was a couple of them on those hole-in-ones that were just deafening.
Yeah, there were a lot of people were fired up about that. We had Maniac Mod Shop in the house. Delirious was there working on some stuff. It was crazy. And you talk about food. Like, I didn't realize that there was going to be the spread that there was, but we had, burgers and dogs and all the fixins. It was great to see the Pendergast again. They're absolutely, they're amazing. And,
Ryan Nye drove his ass up from Connecticut and got a little taste of OGO. That was nice to see.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So I mean, it was a lot of. But that's what I wanted to mention was it was Peakle time.
There were Peakles out. I saw that. There
full
were
on Peakles.
Peakles for the masses.
So kind of feel like a piece of shit. All right.
Why today?
No, yeah. Why today? What happened today? No, just in general. We go over and I'm like. Sarah hands me 2 jars of these Peakles, and I ate one of them completely after last night. And I'll get into what went down at last night afterwards, in just a bit. Afterwards, I got home and ate an entire jar of pickles because they're just so good. They're so good. My kids had a couple. I had the rest of the jar, but there's another jar. And I told them, I was like, the rest of them, I was like, that's up for grabs. You guys go ahead. I'm like, but I knew I was eating this full jar of pickles. It was happening. And they were absolutely amazing. But I took a dog and I took a couple of these mustard pickles and a little bit of mustard. and it was the best damn hot dog I have had, and since the last time I was in Chicago, like that good, and it just absolutely fantastic. I'm like, yeah, you're on to something, Sarah. You're on to something. I picked up one of her rod sleeves.
Yep.
One thing I do want to mention, and I want to get all of the information right. So I'm going to go over to her Instagram now and check it out. She is doing something on her Instagram that you guys need to check out because it's pretty freaking awesome. So she is working with... This is 2 days ago she posted. She is working with autism anglers, right, as far as raising funds for them. And she's doing an event where she's got spots available on a board. Anyway, check out her profile, Sarah P0913. What she's got spots left on this board. There's 38 in total. They're $4.50 each. 3 free spots are left. A donation will get made to Autism Anglers. She goes, she wants to close out the game and then pick a name at the Old Glory open house. It hasn't happened yet, so go and take a look and see if you have an opportunity to get some more spots. I'm looking at it from today. There are 26 spots left as of today. So this would be awesome. But I bring this up because she's making rod sleeves now. Yeah. Which are great. They're really, really great. It's a good material. It's not a woven type material where you can get sharp edges like hooks and things kind of stuck and kind of tear them apart bit by bit. Some of them that happens. These are really great, but I got a nice camo one because my jerkbait rod, my 6'10" is in need of some type of a sleeve. So I grabbed that. She's got some other ones that actually have a real cover built in, which is pretty slick too. And I'm like, oh, that's really awesome. That's super cool. But
now, those are neoprene, right?
Yeah, they are. They're neoprene. Yeah, very, very cool. Very, very unique little setup, but it's thin neoprene too. It's not like super, super rigid. It's
probably 1 mil, I'm guessing. Or 2
I think
mil.
it is. Yeah, probably 1 mil or maybe 2, but they're pretty awesome. So I picked up a camo one because it's camo. I needed to. It was just like. You know what it was Saturday was like? It was like the cookout you look forward to on like Memorial Day weekend. Like everybody gets together and you know what I mean? It had that kind of feel. It was just a whole lot of fun. Just an absolute blast. And there's more stuff to come. Not only did we have this, so like I said, I had recorded a bunch of things. We're going to hear from Nate Chagnon, his entire spiel about breaking down fresh baits. And why is this so interesting? Why is there so much buzz about fresh baits? Fresh Baits is doing some stuff with plastics that are really, really fantastic. First off, they have really unique designs that are intentional. And they have a purpose. I didn't get to see that beetle in the water beforehand. I picked up some just, again, to try them. I'm like, this could make for an awesome trailer. Seeing Nate throw that beetle into the pool, it just kind of gave me like a real good idea of like, no, this is going to be a great little punching bait. It's going to be awesome for flipping. It's going to be great. And then to see the Hellgrammite in action, I love the fact that he uses the Hellgrammite or the Hellamite rather as a drop shot primarily. And I'm like, I'm all about that Ned like life, seeing that thing, just the tail end just pop right back up. It's got this tiny, it's almost like an additional, like the thinnest little tickler end of a tail on the end of this. And I think it's just enough that's just going to like cause a reaction when it gets tough, and the fish are finicky. I was mentioning the flipping contest, so there was a lot of people that entered, and it was 14-year-old Timmy from Bog Hog that won it. Freaking awesome.
He's lucky that Penis got disqualified by Zach. Penis would have given him a run for his money.
That's some stiff competition.
Gross.
But no, yeah, he absolutely crushed it. And I got to have a really, really good, long conversation, actually, a couple of different conversations with Paul Sr. from Bog Hog. Those dudes are passionate about their jigs, like really, 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 really passionate. I've thrown a number of their baits before. It's a great lead alternative. They're a local-based company. They do some really, really, really great stuff. And they've got, it's awesome. Jay Haskins, super passionate about what he's doing. And like I said, I wish I had the whole seminar because we would be cutting pieces of all of them together and making it all kind of work. But we're going to have Jay and crew on the show to talk jigs and probably like get a little bit, maybe even deeper than what the seminar just kind of covered. I had a feeling we weren't going to get a whole lot of like crowd participation because he goes, oh, so who in here throws jigs? And like 90% of the room raised their hand. So like it was everybody that was pretty into it. Fishing in the Sticks jumps in and says the Beatles and the Hellamite are thumbs up. Yeah, they really are. They're pretty freaking awesome. And I mean, even they do a stick bait that just looks awesome. You know, they have this color and it almost looks like a rainbow trout in a way. Yeah. Like the way that it's layered. Like it's just, I mean, it's just a nice setup. I really like it. They got minimal choices for what they have for shapes, but there's a lot of intention with what's in there. And when you hear how Nate uses the scorpion, nuts. Yeah.
I know how my dude uses the scorpion. Yeah. And I actually picked up 3 of them myself to give it another try. I tried a different way, and it didn't work for me. Yep. But I know Nate has success with them, and he pushes them hard. Yeah. And I said, I'm going to give them another try and see if they work for me I'm going to be using them as a trailer for a couple different things. So, yeah,
and that's actually what he does primarily. He uses them in a trailer, but he modifies them. And you'll hear it in this segment how he goes over that modification. But man, it was awesome. You know, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I really, really get fired up for. And it's just huge. And we have another event coming up later this spring over at Old Glory Outdoors. Sean, why don't you go ahead and mention some of the details about that?
I will. So we had, I'm going to go historical on this, and I know you never got a chance to go to any, but Nelson and I and a lot of folks in Western Mass are very, very aware of the event that used to take place out in, I believe it was a Polish American club in Feeding Hills. So right down the street from where I live. And it was a fishing tag sale, fishing rummage sale, whatever you want to call it, fishing yard sale. I know for our listeners across the country, we out here in Massachusetts, we have tag sales or garage sales. It's all the same thing. We call them tag sales because you put tags on them. We're not selling tags, just like no one is selling garages or yards when they have a yard or garage sale, right? It's just our little thing out here. Just
you guys selling tags?
Let us be stupid with our tags. We enjoy it. So that was an opportunity where if you purchased a table there, you had enough old gear, you could get rid of it.
Yeah.
And we're going to be that now that unfortunately that tag sale ended. I want to say it was 3 or 4 years ago. We haven't had one in a few years. I don't know why. I don't know who was running it. It's none of my business. But some guy named Joe, he'll be having a garage sale.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah. So we're going to be working on some promotional stuff for that. It's looking like right now, April 10th. The time is TBD. We'll get there. So if you're interested in getting a table, we're going to figure out the exact number.
Yep.
But please contact Bobby or myself, and it is what? jigsandbigs@gmail.com?
Jigsandbigs413 at gmail.com. Yep.
Jigs, JIGSANDBIGS 413 at Gmail. If you're interested, tables will be $50 a piece. Please contact us. We are some guy named Joe's right-hand men on this. We're going to be handling all of the table placement. So if you got like 3 jitterbugs and a floating Rapala, that's great that you want to sell that. If you don't think you're going to make back the $50, we'll happily take the $50, but
you should take that into consideration. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going through a bunch of my tackle. I will have a small tackle shop on a table. I might not be able to do it 2 years in a row, but this year I am actually having a table. Nelson and I are splitting a table. We're going to have a table and go from there. But please contact us if you're interested. $50 a table, April 10th, Sunday. A time is to be determined. And contact us, jigsandbigs413 at gmail.com.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. One other thing I want to mention about the open house.
Yep.
How could we forget this? My friend and yours, Derek.
Yeah, Derek
from Three Bells.
Yeah.
There was some Three Bells presents there. Derek brought Nelson and I had our pedal drives maintained.
Yeah, Derek serviced them
Gotta do it.
himself, right?
Ted, I think, did it.
Oh, Ted did the servicing. Okay.
Ted did the servicing. So that came back to us. They're running smoother than ever. It's good.
Smooth like a hot knife through butter.
It's good stuff. So
Smoother
that is a
than
big part.
shit through a goose.
Yeah, that too.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's all right. That works. I like the analogy. I will be using that. Thank you.
Good.
It
You're
has
welcome.
shit in it. I'll be swearing. But yeah, that's another part of the prep for the season. The gear, me looking at a database, figuring out what gear I need. But that was a big one. The pedal drive's ready to go,
Yep.
and hopefully within 2 weeks I'll be on the water. I mean, I should be, because 3 weeks from now we got a fucking tournament, man.
I know.
Fuck.
I know.
I am not ready. So I'll make myself ready. But
It's gonna be
Yeah.
good, man. It's gonna be good.
yeah, dude.
I got a bunch of bank fishing I gotta schedule and put together that I'm really looking forward to. I obviously want to just get out and do some pond hopping ASAP, but I do have I want to make it a point this year to get out and fish up at Wachusett again with Becca. We had talked about fishing up there, and maybe catching some more Lakers. That was cool. And then there's a couple other spots I'd like to go and hit, but I cannot wait for getting into the kayak. And my goal, really, once we get into early April, my goal is I'm going to try to do 2 a week in the kayak.
Yep.
Even if one of them's at night, fantastic. If both of them are at night, cool.
Yep.
Try and squeeze in get in that boat twice a week. That's my plan. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be kind of crazy on wedding weeks. So there might be weeks where I'm doing 4 in a week to catch up, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It'll be good. But yeah, I mean, there's just awesome stuff. So the tag sale, we have that coming up. That's in April. That's going to be a blast. You guys should definitely come and check that out. From what I understand, there's, a monstrous amount of pre-owned gear that's up for grabs. Nelson chimes in right here. He says, almost went to the Swift today, but got too busy getting my gear ready for the season. That's where I almost had headed out too, and I decided to keep it local, just because I knew I had errands to run locally. So I hit the Connecticut River instead. But I got a couple of ideas in mind. I'm excited, man. I'm psyched to hear that body of water you're talking about was that open. That surprises me.
It was real open. No, I mean it's.
The sunlight is getting there. I noticed today it was about 6 o'clock, and I'm like, I can't believe it's not dark, blackout. It is.
And we got the stupid fucking clock change next week.
That's
Fuck
next
the clock
week.
change. Yeah, it's the 13th, I believe.
That's awesome. Good.
Fuck that clock change. Why are we fucking medieval? This is stupid. Stop the clock change.
Yeah.
Change.org, I guess.
There's so many freaking, petitions and stuff for that, but it's whatever. It's never going to change.
Not gonna.
It's stupid.
It's stupid. Fucking sucks. I'm sorry.
Yep.
There you go. No, I'm not sorry. Fuck it. It's stupid. I hate the time change.
But we'll be. What's nice is that after next week, we'll be back on a regular schedule as far as the amount of daylight we're getting, and it'll be nice. It'll be real nice.
Yeah, I'll be fucked up for 4 weeks because of my sleep cycle. So fuck the clock change.
I don't know. This one is so much easier than the fall.
The springing ahead.
I think so.
This one's usually worse because you lose that hour of sleep.
It's okay, but you can just go to sleep. Just
Dude, I've had sleep problems for 2 decades.
I think it
murders me.
I think it's worse the other way around. For a longer period of time when you're like, fuck, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Why is it pitch black out? Why does it feel like it's midnight?
Well, that sucks, and
I think that's infinitely harder.
Hoovering vitamin D all winter, but
yeah.
It sucks. Fuck the clock change. It's medieval. It's stupid. We there's no reason to do it, and we suck as a society for doing it. That's all I want to say.
Don't hold back.
I am actually, believe it or not. This is the G-rated version. I hate that clock change more than anything. Dude, we do not get political. You and I do not get political on this show at all. All right. I hate that time change, both of them, to the core of their fucking being. I hate them. They're so stupid. They're fucking pointless. It's just a way to give people fucking strokes and car accidents and heart attacks and piss me off, and I hate it. Fuck the time change.
So you guys thought he was getting fired up last year about PFDs and stuff? That's nothing. That's
Don't
nothing.
even start me on that. Fuck! Fuck!
It's going to be good. Oh, God. Talked with Delirious a little bit. I got to get that trailer down to him. That's got to happen.
Yeah.
Because I had totally dropped the ball on that. Once we got into the holidays, it was like completely forgotten about. So I gotta make that happen. Got a couple of things working though that I'm excited about. I'm looking forward to doing some stuff. It was good to hang out with Paul yesterday. We realized I haven't hung out with him since like November.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's been a while. I mean, he was at the 100th show, but I mean, other than that, it was like that's the thing. It's like those types of events. A lot of people don't realize this, but like for me, it's just another day at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's great because I get to see some people and everything else, but I'm like, I'm just I'm doing what I do. It's crazy.
I feel I got to socialize a little more, which was nice. I got to talk to a few people like Josh. I didn't even get a chance to talk to him at the 100th episode.
Sean, do you think that the accurate term would be chiefing vitamin D?
I have been chiefing fucking vitamin D this winter.
Chiefing
I've been chiefing that shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chiefing vitamin D. Good God. Oh, my goodness. So, I mean, what else do we have to go over here? Oh,
got a little whoring to do, and then we'll fucking take a break.
We got word from Tim Jakes that the Bluetooth speaker lives up to the hype. Apparently, when you do listen to Jigs and Bigs, it does maintain the sensual sound of my voice and communicates it well. It was good. So, yeah. Both nipples were apparently hard, when testing. It was good.
This Bluetooth with Jigs and Bigs pumped through it will, in fact, cause you to orgasm uncontrollably.
It's true.
Man or woman, doesn't matter.
Have you ever seen Howard Stern Private Parts?
I have.
Yeah, the loudspeaker part?
I have.
Yes. Okay. All right. That's sort of the effect. And in fact, you know what?
Go ahead and try that.
I'm making a reel. And I'm going to use a clip from that movie. I
thought you were going in a completely different direction right there.
No.
Thought you were going to make a reel to proving that hypothesis.
Proving the hypothesis. Nah.
That should be on OnlyFans, not Instagram there, Mr. Roastbeef.
So let me round out my weekend, how it went out. Because I didn't just come home from the open house and house a jar of pickles. That wasn't the extent of chief a jar of pickles. No, I went out. My wife, because you guys remember, for those of you that pay attention and watch the show, I had edited last week's episode. No, it wasn't last week's episode. It was 2 weeks ago. When I was in Vegas, I had edited that episode while I was out there, and I had streamed myself editing the show on Instagram. I was doing a live stream on Instagram, and I didn't realize how loaded I was when I did this. I really did. Did you watch it yet, Sean?
I did. I was gonna say
that's right.
You weren't on Instagram. You were on something.
Yeah. It was. I was like, and then I asked Wild Bill and Andrew. I was like, "Did you guys see this?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "Watch it." I'm like, it is ridiculous. Like, I watched it back and I was like, "Oh, should I delete this?" I really considered. There's some gems though that are in there. Like, there's some stuff that could be great for future use, so I don't want to get rid of it. But I bring that up because that whole process was awesome and it was great. But I mentioned in that video that I was in fact the dirtbag who left his wife on her birthday so I could go to Vegas for work. And I am a piece of shit. Again, I judge holiday lights. I mean, it's what I do. So that isn't why I was in Vegas. That would be weird if there was a conference about that. Is there a conference for holiday judgment? Oh my God. So I told her, I was like, listen, I go, when I get back in town, I was like, obviously there's a bunch of shit going on, you know? I said, we'll get together, we'll go out, you know? And I told her, I said, Saturday night after I get back from the OGO event, I said, I'm just gonna swing by, pick you up, take you out for drinks and appetizers. And we had gone to the famous Tunnel Bar. Now, let me explain something to those that aren't in the Western Mass area that don't know what the Tunnel Bar is. If there's a list that of like the bars you should go to in your life in the country, like the Tunnel Bar is in the top 5. It's up there. It's a small, it used to be, I guess, an old train tunnel or something, or I don't know exactly what it was, but at one point or another, but they've converted it. It's in just this giant stone wall. It's a big canal, basically.
Gonna ask what it's made out of. Paper? Metal?
No, it's flesh.
Flesh.
No, so we go in there, but this isn't just like some regular bar. You go in there and there's nice leather easy chairs and you know, small like almost like coffee tables really in between, and they set this up in a nice little place. It's a martini bar. Now, I have always enjoyed my experiences at the Tunnel Bar. Anytime I've gone there, I'd go and have like a really good, like a 14-year-old scotch or something like that and enjoy that. You know, usually it used to be back in the day, you could order drinks and they bring you a little bowl of like mixed nuts. And it was great. You know, you just have a nice time, have a couple of drinks and then go out and do whatever you're going to do. And my wife would always talk shit. About the Tunnel Bar. So I don't know. Why would anybody want to go there? And who drinks martinis that much? Well, my wife is a gin drinker, and they have a couple of really great gin cocktails over there. So we went over and had a few. I was driving. My wife indulged a little more than I did. And then we had a couple of appetizers that we shared, and we had a great little night out talking about all kinds of different stuff. My wife was housed. Like she was shithouse drunk. Oh my God. She woke up with a bit of a hangover. I woke up feeling great. As always, Bobby Roast Beef doesn't get hangovers. He doesn't do that. And I got home and I was like, oh yeah, pickles. And that's when I housed those pickles. After 2 rye Manhattans. Yeah. I chiefed those pickles. Chiefed them hard. And then I took a big pull on the pickle juice. Oh, yeah, so good. So good. I'm telling you, the pickles.
I don't drink and I don't eat pickles. I'm rooting for you. I'm glad
you don't
you're
eat
so happy.
Pickles? Like any pickles?
Nope. I eat cucumbers, just in salads, but I don't eat pickles.
You don't eat pickles.
Nope.
Huh.
No, it's not my thing, man. Huh. I'm one of those people that back in the day when I used to eat McDonald's and Burger King,
you'd take the pickles off.
No, if I said no pickles and those motherfuckers left the pickles on the burger at the drive-thru, if they left them on there and I could taste them, I'd be upset. I would eat the thing, but I'd be upset.
You'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah. Like I expected like gourmet food from McDonald's or Burger King, but if the pickles were on there, I was upset. Yeah. So yeah, no, dude, I got your back. This is your zone.
That's what I do.
I'm holding up flags. I'm sign guy. I'm rooting for you. Eat those pickles, pound that gin, chief everything at the Tunnel Bar.
Chief everything you can.
Yeah, I got your back. You know what I chief. So when I go grabbing a pizza or some shit and you're watching me like, hey, you're going, Sean, that's literally 2,700 calories. And I'm just smiling. Just do it.
And I owe you. People ask me because they do, and people assume that you and I are attached at the hip. They're all ask, hey, where's Sean? Where's Sean at? Where is he? I was like, oh, he's at the Sturbridge. Was it Sturbridge? It was Sturbridge. I was like, he's at the Sturbridge Pizzeria Uno, face fucking a personal pizza right now.
Yes, I was. That was a true statement.
And people are just like, oh, that's hilarious. I'm like, I'm not lying.
Yeah, I'm fucking smashing a pizza and it was my turn to buy lunch for Nelson. So he also smashed a pizza.
Destroyed a pizza. And we had a conversation.
This is great. All right. You are not wrong that I smashed a pizza. But here's the thing where you're slightly off. You know what Uno's has that I love to death? They have
pickles.
This. No. Definitely not. They have pickles, but I hate those. They have this fucking big salad. It's got berries, fucking strawberries, goat cheese, and then a vinaigrette, like a sweet vinaigrette on there, and I get chicken on it. I had that for lunch, but then I got up knowing that I was going to be all fucked up and running all over Massachusetts after I was done with the show.
Standby pizza.
I grabbed a pizza to go. I did, to make sure, as the bartender who was serving us, we sat by the bar. She saw me eating immediately, like eat a quarter of it, and she's like, getting a little quality control in, huh? I said, yes, I am. So I did house a little bit of pizza,
awesome.
but the salad went down the hatch, and then washed it down 2 dessert pieces, and then I ate the rest of the pizza on the way home because I was running. With me being Mr. Mom, I had to make some arrangements with my kids about where they were hanging out because it was either that or they were going to go to this thing for 5 hours, and neither of them fishes that much. They would have been miserable.
Nelson chimes in and he says, add some boiled eggs to that pickle juice and let them go for a week. Boom, you're done. You're welcome. That sounds fantastic. I should say, I like pickled everything. I like pickled eggs. I like pickled kielbasa. I like pickled beets. I like pickled onions. Yeah, I pickle anything. You pickle a shoe, I'd eat it.
You pickled it. Put some mustard on it.
Pickled fish.
Oh, man.
Kippers and things.
Welcome to Jigs and Bigs, where fat guys talk about food, sometimes fishing.
I know. Sometimes we talk about fishing. All right, Let's go ahead. We're going to take a short break, guys. When we get back, we got an extensive Just the Tip for you guys this week that we're going to get very, very much into detail regarding record keeping and stuff. And this is all on location at... No, we're not doing that. What am I talking about? You're going to do this live.
Doing me.
Yeah, we're doing this live.
Yeah.
So we're going in depth here. This will be really good. We will see you guys right after this. Remember, we got Nate coming up in segment 3 talking about his uses for fresh baits and how it all kind of happens. We'll see you guys in just a bit. Jigs and Bigs is proud to announce we're being supported by Old Glory Outdoors. They're a veteran-owned company that carries fishing and hunting gear. Plus, they're highly active in supporting veteran organizations and charities. Old Glory is an authorized dealer of favorite rods, FX rods, Guggen baits, X-Zone lures, Sixth Sense, and many more. There's a brick-and-mortar store located in East Brookfield, Massachusetts, but you can also order online at oldgloryoutdoors.com. They ship anywhere in the lower 48 states or order online and pick up at the store. When you order, use the promo code Jigs and Bigs and you'll save 10% off your complete order. Plus, you'll help support the show. Make sure to check out the apparel line called OGO gear while you're there. Old Glory Outdoors believes in the slogan Start 'em Young to keep kids away from screens and enjoying nature. They've got a full array of live bait too. Check out oldgloryoutdoors.com and use the promo code Jigs and Bigs. Save some money and gear up now.
Bobby and Sean now have a special presentation for us all. They'd like to give everyone just the tip.
I think it's safe to say that tonight in this episode, you guys are getting the whole damn thing. I feel like Sean is releasing a ton of information and a ton of value in this episode. And it goes a lot further than just talking about, numbers and all that stuff. This is a big deal. Take it away, Sean.
Yeah. Well, thank you, sir. When I had to do my seminar for Old Glory this weekend, originally, and I never did apologize to Zach and Joe, whoever the fuck that guy is, and everybody else, but they kind of advertised on the Hookset Hoodlum podcast that
that's right.
I would be talking about breaking a map down again. I said, well, I thought about it. I said, I can do more. Like, maps are great. It is great to see how someone breaks a map down to look for certain things, but it might not affect a certain number of anglers because they're all river anglers or they don't fish that type of body of water or whatever. And it gets very, I don't know, nebulous because you never know what kind of weed growth is on a map. Like you're only seeing half the story by looking at a topo map. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I decided to shift gears and say, I'm going to talk about my database. And I brought my computer and pulled up the database, did the smart thing first, applied a filter, removed everything from New England. So everyone that was watching the seminar got to see a bunch of stuff from Minnesota, which, hey, you guys want to go out to central Minnesota and fish some of the lakes? Have fun.
There's more than 10,000 of them. Enjoy it.
Yeah. I'll be happy to feed you information on those, but if, we're in competitive stuff around New England, I'm not going to feed information. So I narrowed it down and the first thing I did was I presented everyone the notebook. And I did pass that around because some of my stuff on there is abbreviated so no one can read what the fuck it is. They can take guesses at it, but it's not straight up. And I showed everyone how I take down information on the water. And Bobby, I know you use apps, and I do not knock apps.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Most of the conversations that you and I have had about the apps you use, my questions usually go to, well, do they take this and do they record that and do they record that? And some is yes, some is no. And I say, okay, what I've done with my Excel file, and it's just a simple Excel file, is it's tailored to me. If you are looking for certain information that an app covers, use it.
Yeah.
The important thing is you're taking the data down and you're taking data that you need. You're not missing anything. So if app A does not, for whatever reason, I'm just making something up, cover weather conditions, and app B covers weather conditions but doesn't have lure pattern or color or something very important, tailor those to your need.
Yeah.
All right. I have done that with an Excel file. So what I do is, I don't have it with me. Son of a bitch. I'm going to have to go off memory here. Okay. So on my little tiny all-weather notebook, which you can buy on the finest of online purchasing sites, Amazon, for $3 for $10. They're Right in the Rain. The brand is RITE. I have a bigger one. This is not my fishing notebook, but Right in the Rain. RITEIN, the rain. I don't know why I spelled in there, but now we know how to spell in.
Those are super popular with like the EDC crowd and the Doomsday Preppers and all them. Super popular.
Military folks, when we're working outside, we need to write down stuff, which is where it originated with me. And, excuse me, just hacked up a hairball.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks. Classy. I keep it classy, Bobby. So I take that down, and the first thing I do on the top line of this little tiny notebook is I think I get the 3x4s. I think that's the size. The one I just held up was a 5x7, I believe, or 5x6, whatever it was.
Yeah. You want it small enough that you can keep it in a pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I keep it nearby. Usually I keep it in, I have a small waterproof box that I keep it in when I'm not using it. Or I keep it, if it's raining, I'll keep it in the box. If not, I'll keep it in a pocket on me. You know, if I'm wearing my life vest and has a pocket, I pop it in there. The first line, date, the body of water, and I put the times I'm there. If it's a tournament, that's very easy because I'm putting 8 to 4, 7 to 3, 6:30 to 2:30, whatever. That's your first line. If it's an open-ended, if I'm pre-fishing and I arrive there and start fishing at 8 o'clock in the morning, I put 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I put a dash and I leave it blank. And when I'm done fishing, I write down, okay, I got off the water at 2:35.
Yep.
Exactly. Second line is the weather conditions, the exact water temperature, all right? And usually I'll put the wind speed and the range, and the direction. Excuse me.
Do you make a note if you travel and you take a water temperature reading somewhere, and then maybe you go into a cove and the water is a little bit more shallow when it's warmer? Do you note that?
Water temperature, I generally don't fill in until a little later in the day. Number one,
Gotcha.
I want my temp sensor to acclimate. And then I'll just keep a little mental note. You know, I don't stare at my fish finder looking for a temperature. So like,
Yeah.
if it drops in one area, it goes down a degree or two, I don't get bent out of shape.
Yep.
It's a generalization. I'll get into why I use that in a little bit. But I'll see like, okay, it's 62 to 65 in this body of water. I've been around the lake. That's what I saw. That's what I put in there. Okay. If I'm not fishing an area
Yep.
and it's a different temperature, that's great. I'm not going to know that. I'm not going to put it in. It's not going to be the water that I fished. These were the temperatures that I saw.
Yeah.
Line number 3 and on, there's always 3 lines. Line number 3 could finish out the day's log and say skunk, or it could have the time, the exact time that I caught the fish, because I look down at my fish finder. Every time I catch a fish, check the time, the species of the fish, the length of the fish, and what I caught it on, the lure with the color, and any notes like maybe a rigging technique.
Yep.
Okay, so I could have, I don't know, 3, I might put 3 YD GP N. And then I might put 1/4. So that would be 3-inch Yum Dinger, green pumpkin, Ned on a 1/8 ounce Ned rig. One little quick, that's it. So I put a lot of stuff in there, but I know what I'm reading. You know what I mean? I'll put size, I'll put the lure with the brand. Sometimes I have to write out the like a particular model. If maybe I'm using, I don't know, I'm going to throw an example out. If I'm using, what's a company that has more than one jerkbait? Rapala has more than one jerkbait, right?
Yeah.
I might have to put in a certain model.
Husky
you know what
jerk.
I mean? And then the color. Yeah, HJ or whatever. I mean, Rapala's pretty good about the abbreviations anyways.
Yep.
So that's lines.
Yeah.
That's lines 3 through however many fish I catch.
Yep.
I write all that stuff down. Here's what I can pull out of just that information that I gave you. I'm going to fuck around the screen here. Hopefully I don't lose you, Bobby. I don't think I will.
No,
but,
I don't think so.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull up my log and just show you what I can draw out of that. Okay. And as I explained during the seminar, at some point within the next, usually 4 or 5 hours of returning from that trip, like if I have shit to do, I have shit to do, but usually I get it done pretty quickly because I want it fresh in my mind of what actually happened out there because there's a section from notes. So just pulling from the body of water, the two things you're going to get out of that are the state and the city. That's easy enough. You know where the body of water is, you know where the state is, right?
Yep.
I put those in because it's another way to filter that out.
Yep.
All right. It's another way to filter things. Okay. Month, the day, the year, that's already written down. What I do, I think is important in my database is I keep an eye on moon phase. All right. And I'll get into why a little bit more later on how to filter that out. That requires its own tab, I feel, because that's a broader weather or I don't know, influence on the way the fish are hitting. It's not like I can look and say, okay, waxing crescent 33 or waning crescent 33%. Like I don't focus in on that, but I might see a trend between a waning crescent 30 and 35%, for example. You know what I mean? I'm making shit up, but I'm looking at it in a broader sense. Okay. So I go on to Weather Underground. You can get the moon phase from that by zip code. That's pretty easy. The water temperature. So I have 2 columns in my database for water temperature. I have the water temp actual, what I saw that day, and then I put it into a range. Okay. So for example, I'm looking at one right now from October. I saw 52 to 54 degree water. So I saw 52, 53, and 54, or I saw 52 and a low 52, high 54. My range is by 5s. So I saw 51 to 55 because that fits into that 5. So I go 51 to 55, 56 to 60, 61 to 65, et cetera, et cetera. I think the highest temp I've ever seen is like 85. So I don't think I've topped that, but it goes all the way from, man, I don't think I've even been on the water under 35 degrees. Yeah. But I think I start at 35 or I just put under 40 and down or 35 to 40, something like that. Yeah. Why don't I look? I'm going to look. I'm going to get that answer for us because I have the means. So I have 36 to 40 starting. Yeah. Because you go 33 to 35. I've not fished that cold of water. So, there you go. Weather conditions. I put that in there. Just real simple. Like, hey, it was cloudy, it was windy, it was rainy. Easy enough. Then there's my wind speed, wind direction. If there's any changes, I just put a little denotation, a little arrow. It went east to north to west. No big deal. The time range is important, I feel. And then your times you catch the fish. I think that's very important. I'm not going to get into why. That's my business. That's something I'm working on. I can't prove that, but I have some theories on certain times, and I'll be bumping that up against the information I have down the road. Species, very important, obviously. Length, I don't worry about weight, although I do have a weight column because I used to. Yeah. So the information's in there. I don't use it anymore, but it's just kind of a dead column at this point. But I can always look back and say, here's the weight. The lure type. This is important because you take a nice broad look at the lure type. So if you're using jerk baits, right? I have a let me see. I might as well just break this down. There's a few of them, but this is what my general broad categories are by types of lure. Bass jig, bladed jig, buzz bait. I actually have crappie jig in there. It should be a light jig, but I was using crappie jigs one time to catch panfish. They're in there. And again, every species of fish I throw in there, floating jerk bait, hollow body bluegill, hollow body frog, hollow body mouse. I've used all 3 of those. Inline spinner, lipless crankbait, lipped crankbait. Here's one that I have one entry for, and I'm gonna throw back on this from the Chronic Trips November tournament from a couple years ago, where I actually resorted to drop shotting live bait to try and get a bluegill in November.
I remember that.
I do in fact have live nightcrawler listed. Plastic crawfish, plastic creature, plastic fluke, plastic grub, plastic lizard, plastic stick bait, plastic swim bait, plastic toad, plastic tube, plastic worm, prop bait, which I accidentally fucked up and put that in 3 times as prop bait, propeller bait, and then I misspelled propeller underneath that. And
propeller bait.
Yeah, so those are all three. Spinnerbait, spoon, suspending jerkbait, swim jig, swim bait, ultralight. I had some ultralight shit that I was throwing around for a little while years ago. Umbrella rig or umbrella rig with a lipless crankbait. And I actually, just so everyone knows, that was in Massachusetts. We can use umbrella rigs.
Yep.
The only kind I know we can use that's legal to use outside of an Alabama rig, Booyah makes the Boo rig.
Yeah.
And I was using those, and you can attach a lure to the middle portion, and the rest is all spinnerbait blades. It's all willow blades, wake bait, and walker. So there's all the different types of lures that have come across, my experience over the years. And I will say this: with the plastic worms, plastic grubs, all those different plastics, I put a note later down the row here. I put a note in to denote how I rig them. So it could be Texas, could be Carolina, could be drop shot. That live Nightcrawler is right up there with notes used as a drop shot, But that's the lure.
Do you also indicate, like, if you cut off, like, 2 segments of a paddle tail or something like that? Do you get that into it?
I'll get that in a second. After that, so lure type, and then I go lure brand, and that'll tell me, again, for me, the whole point of this database was to save money on lures. And what am I catching fish with? Exactly, right? So I put lure brand, lure model, lure size, another column, lure color. That color thing I get a little particular with. So sometimes I list the color that is listed by the manufacturer. Sometimes the color listed by the manufacturer doesn't like jive. You know what I mean? Like some company may call something bluegill, and it looks more like, I don't know, almost like a scaled green pumpkin. You never know with these companies.
Yeah.
I'm throwing words out here, but you get what I'm saying? Where it's not, I might call that green pumpkin and then put in parentheses bluegill, just so I know what it is, so I know where to get it again.
Yeah.
Then any lure accessories, if I've swapped out a hook for a bigger size or a different color, if I've Ned rigged something, what the weight is. There's no secret here about me Ned rigging, anything I've done, like if I've painted a stripe on a lure with used a garlic marker, anything like that, any sense, just anything I've done of that's under a lure accessories category. This is stupid. I don't know why I do this, but it just helps my memory and thinking back about stuff. I always list who I fished with that day. If it's a large crew, if it's a tournament, I just put I'm looking at this last MAKB tournament that we had at A1 last year to end the season, the team tournament. I just put the MAKB crew. I knew who I was there with.
Yeah, exactly.
It just helps with my memory, Was this in a tournament? Was this in multiple tournaments? I put that, I list that, and then I have a comment section. This is my own personal recollection of what did I have? What was I doing? Was there a particular point on the lake that really turned up for me? Was I seeing fish somewhere? It can be anything. I mean, I have some stupid shit written in this comments thing because there's no rules. It's just, again. So
it helps you dial in the details, I guess that's really all that matters.
Here's a great quick comment that I put in. All right, because I think I had 1 or 2 hours to fish. I went to a closed pond, and I said, quick run to unnamed body of water, hit most fish on the west end of the pond over dying weeds. And then right after that, a one-word sentence, Nibblerama. Those are little things that I remember. Okay, so I went there, and then I can look back, and that note is in every fish. So every fish I filter that has that note attached to it. I wrote that note over and over again. So what this database does is, and I wanted to talk with Ken and John about it in particular, Ken Wood and John Ferreira. I did mention it to Ken. I was laughing about it. I said, are you guys going to be sticking around for the seminar? They said no, because they had to run. They live a little farther away. No big deal. They had to get home for dinner or whatever. Yeah. And I said, that's a shame, because this was really inspired by you guys, because I listened to the breakdown last week and they were talking. I don't even know what they were talking about, but Ken made a comment like, we should really be writing this stuff down. And John said, yeah, we should. And they both laughed about it. And I'm like, you should. Yeah. Every angler should be writing all this shit down. Never trust your memory. And where this comes in, as you and I talked about earlier, and even at the show, I've already made a list of places that are suited for me to catch a good bag. Yeah. Because that's how seriously I take that knockout tournament. Yep. And I know you were already thinking about it too, but I've written it down, and I'm going to go back and verify, okay, over the years, I've had great bags during April at this body of water.
Yep.
I need to consider that. And then I can narrow it down. You know what I mean? Like something like this, it doesn't just happen in a year. I have, I have 13 years now of data. Every fish. And you can see two huge bumps in my success. The first one was when I shut up and I didn't worry about, I just went to the store and bought whatever lures I wanted every time for 3 years. I just continued on my business, but I marked stuff down, right? 3 years in, after 3 years of recording data, I said, okay, what am I doing? What are my trends on the off season? And I looked at it and I cleaned the fuck out of my tackle box. I said, I'm not catching fish on these certain lures. Yeah. I'm just not. And from that point, without doing anything schedule wise, my numbers almost tripled for largemouth bass. It was amazing. Just from applying that data. Yeah. A few years later, when I retired from the military, and now all of a sudden, I not only retired from the military, but retired from the military and left another job that had weekend shifts. So I had 2 jobs with weekend shifts at the same time. My weekends opened up. My numbers doubled again from that other point. It was amazing. So I went from catching 200 to 300 largemouth a year to 500 to 600. Yeah. It was just applying, just having the discipline to do this. And you've seen me on the water. Mm-hmm. I catch a 3-inch bluegill. I catch a 12-inch bass. I catch a 39-inch pike. I do what I have to do. I measure it. I put it back in the water. And the first thing I do is pull out my notebook, rain or shine or snow. And I write down that stuff, the measurements I took, what I caught it on. I put the notebook away. And when I get home, I have a cup of coffee or a soda and I sit down and I enter all this into the database. And obviously I back it up.
Sure. So I want to add, just to drive, you guys hear Sean the Fisherman talk about this, and he's doing multiple tournaments at different times. He's a lot, and that's not necessarily the way every angler works. But what I'm about to tell you guys is something that you might relate to a bit more. That, if nothing else, it drives the point home that the stuff that Sean is talking about here applies even if you're not competitive, with your fishing. If you're not, out fishing, 4 days a week, 5 days a week sometimes, if you're not on the water that often. When we came back from the show, when Paul and I were driving back home, and we were talking, and he was like, man, I really, really like, what Sean had to say. He's like, a lot of that shit really kind of just popped into my head, because he goes, especially for me, because I don't have the time to two things. I don't have the time to get out there on the water and waste all my time figuring out oh, am I going to throw this, or how does this look? Or of course I think this looks good, but did it actually catch me any fish? I don't know. And also to what caliber that is. Now, he said himself, he made a point. He goes, I don't know that I'm disciplined enough to go ahead and keep those types of records or anything. And I actually think he is. I think everybody is. It's just a matter of doing it, of putting it together so that way you've got a reference to go back to. And that could be the motivation on your own. I have been on the water personally. I've seen this with other people where you go out and the fishing's tough and you immediately are just like, well, we'll try this. We'll try this. We'll try this. When I like to try new things is when they're biting, not when it's tough. I don't like to try things when it's tough. I'd rather try it when they're biting. If I catch a few on this one thing and it's not a competitive situation, where I have to catch fish for whatever, I am more likely to go and test the waters by changing the color or changing the retrieve or changing the look or something like that. But that's not always the case. That's a luxury. When you can do that, that's a luxury. So if you're, a weekend warrior and you get out, 4 times a month for 4 to 6 hours, and that's all you have, you definitely owe it to yourself to take some notes on the baits that are working. How am I doing with swim baits? How am I doing with paddle tail? Or how am I doing with whopper ploppers? How am I doing with topwater frogs? I love them. Are they performing, or do I just like going jerk, jerk, pause, jerk, 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 pause? You got to figure that out.
Even if you don't catch fish, but you write everything down, right? You go to, I don't know, a heavily populated rec lake, right?
Yep.
You don't catch anything. You write skunk, but I was at this lake. And then you go to another heavily populated rec lake and you're like skunk. So now you know that's twice. Just like I always say, man.
Yeah.
One fish is a fish, two fish is a pattern.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden you've gone to two lakes that are similar. They have a similarity, right?
Yeah. They get hammered, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're rec lakes. There's people around that the fish behave differently. Now you're like, well, maybe I should stay away from those. Maybe I should go to a weedier mountain lake with no fucking boat ramp or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just looking at what you're doing and finding the patterns.
Yeah. Or maybe it's something that you consider. You're like, yeah, I'll bet you these fish have all seen a whopper plopper a million times.
Yeah.
Or these fish have all been fed Senkos all day long.
Yeah.
You know, or something like that. And it's just not necessarily going to work. So maybe you got to think a little outside the box.
These fish have all seen pictures of Tim Jakes shirtless.
They have, and they're scared.
A couple of them aren't.
A couple of them are down. You know what I mean? That's the thing, though. I think that like if you're not even wanting to save money on baits, because let's be honest. I mean, I know there's a lot of people like me that are just like, I'm buying more baits. You know what I mean? Like, I know. It's half the fun. Well, I don't care if they don't catch me fish or not. I like them. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just for some of us, that's what it is. But at the same time, like, you know, you want to go out and have the most productive day you can. Make the most out of whatever time. If nothing else, if it's not the money you're spending on baits, that's the motivation to do this. It's the motivation to get the most out of your time on the water, because your time is precious. You know, time is money, and you're wasting your time by going out and just, you know, playing this guessing game over and over and over again, and having an idea of like, okay, well, you know, this works in this setting. I've had, you know, results, instead of like, I've had luck with this bait here. No, I've had results with this bait here. I've had results that work, you know, in this body of water. You know, maybe I fished this body of water a bunch, but maybe it was at night and it was the only time you ever caught any fish. Well, why would you go there at 10 a.m.? Yeah. You know, I mean,
it's learning about your own tendencies. That's all you're doing. You're writing down what you're doing. And like, I write this stuff down and you'll see shit in there that is, it's not flattering.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't matter. No one else is looking at this shit but me. I mean, I've shown a few people, like, this is how to do it. But when it really comes down to it, I'm looking at it to make myself a better fisherman. So it's not like I'm lying.
And, you know, if it's the notebook and you're like, oh, God, yeah, I got to keep a notebook. I got to make sure I have a pen. I got to write all this down and do this. You got your phone. You're going to bring that with you anyway. Like, open up your notepad app and just take the information right there. Create a form on your notepad, whatever it might be, whatever you're using for, you know, if you have Apple iPhone, open up Notes. Create
Bobby,
what's that?
I got to interrupt on this. This
Go
is
ahead.
great. All right. I have a note in there because I forgot my fucking pad one day on my notepad. It has the same information that I write down on my notebook.
Yep.
So I have the date, the location, the time. I have I have the water temp.
Yep.
And then I have partly cloudy. Skunk.
2 is 1, 1 is none. That's what they say. That's what they say. So, you know, I mean, this way it's like if you have the ability to do this right now. You know, I mean, when you're out fishing, well, okay, maybe we're not. Maybe you need open water. But, you know, like, you have the ability to go ahead and take this information and make it happen. You know, if you're like me and you know, I like technology, you know, like that notes column Sean mentioned is super valuable, because whatever information your app might not have, you can easily get from your fish finder and from your phone if you use a weather app or something like that. You know, I use Angler. They do great at getting all the conditions, you know, all those weather conditions. I don't have to worry about that. But water temperature, although I believe I can tie Angler into some Lowrance units. I don't know if it works with mine. I think there's a way, you know, but that, you know, as far as water temperature, that's the kind of stuff I put in the notes. I'm like, this is what the water temp was. And I usually, what I do is I do it per catch. just because I want to know what the temp was there, what it was reading at that time. But, you just got to make it work for you, whatever it is. But the nice thing about having what Sean's talking about, the real important thing is that spreadsheet, because it's filterable. You can go through it and you can get the results based on specific items that you want, specific things, whether it's a specific size range or a specific species, whatever it might be, or even different months of the year, different seasons, things like that, and find out what worked for you. So there's a lot that you can actually do with this if you just take a little bit of time and take the notes. And then the important part is, like he said, that's where it's the diligence, is taking what you've got written down and then dumping it into this format.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's my tip.
Maybe we'll see a day where there will be an app that's all inclusive and it puts all of this in one thing, and you can just kind of go through your day and just fish and have it record your stuff, but until then, this will do the job.
Yeah, it's simple. It's the discipline to do it. And I cannot tell everyone who's listening how much doing this has improved my angling and saved me money at the same time.
Yeah.
And really, you know what I consider this? Like, remember how I always say, I've said it numerous times over the past 2 years, fishing is this weird combination of like 4 sports. It's a combination of hunting, because you're dealing with animals, right? It's got some traits of hunting, or 3 sports, excuse me. It's like hunting. It's like golf, because you're dealing with the elements. You're outside, and really golf is probably the closest sport that we're going to get.
And it's a long game.
Yeah, well, with the gear, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With a tool for every condition, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then it's really like baseball, in my opinion, because of statistics and the way you can apply them. So this is this would be like I see a lot of anglers they're great anglers and they don't record any of this shit. And you know what they are? They're old school baseball players before, what was it? What's the term? Fucking sabermetrics or whatever.
Yep.
Fucking, before Billy Bean came in.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, I can hit anything, and my batting average is this, and there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to it, right? They're just going up and swinging.
Yeah.
Or they're going up and they're going by feel.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean that you can not have success doing that. You could.
Yeah, Babe Ruth didn't have fucking Billy Bean doing shit for him. But what this does is, for me, it takes me as an average angler and allows me to compete with big names.
Yeah.
I'm not going to win everything. Nobody's going to win everything.
No.
But I can, my name will be, I hope if things go right, my name will be up there. You know what I mean?
True.
That one Nashua River tournament I fished a couple years ago that I won.
Mm-hmm.
There was some fucking incredible anglers in that. And I was given the Joe Brown treatment. They were like, who the fuck is Sean Dominic?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I won that. And I stuck with my numbers, and I stuck with my data, and I stuck with where I thought I was going to do well, and it worked out. You know what I mean? All of that.
Check my numbers.
That's right. All of that built up to that day. And it was, I don't know how else I can help people out. Like, this is the number one. This is the thing that I do. This isn't rigging a jig a certain way. This isn't cutting the dicks off of plastic. This is what I do to make me better.
Old dick cutter.
I am the old dick cutter. I am sharing it with everyone. Write down what you do and personalize your history. See what you're doing and make changes from there, and always assess yourself. So there's my contribution. I think, honestly, I should do this fucking spiel at least once a quarter, because it's just so important.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it is. It's super important. I don't think enough people pay attention to it. And it's like, when Paul said that, it really kind of hit me. I was like, you know what? Yeah, you don't need to be a tournament angler. You don't need to be super competitive or fish. Like, I fish like a crazy person. I am out all the time. Anytime I can get on the water, if I can squeeze a few hours in, I'm doing it. If I can squeeze 40 minutes in, I'm going to do it. It's just like, if your time is valuable and you value your effort, while you're out there, and it can be humbling, because you're like, shit, those sexy baits that I thought I was catching all these fish with, or that I was imagining were just like killing it for me. in the long run, I found out that my strong suits are this, or, maybe I do better. I never really thought about coming up on a cold front. I seem to do better. Or, whatever. These details, they all kind of make it work. And then all of a sudden, once you see these patterns, do you look at the weather forecast? Do you look at, the calendar? You look at anything, and it gives you a little bit of a tip. You're like, oh, okay. So, this weekend's going to be like this. This would actually work out good. I should hit a body of water that's like this, or this.
Yeah, and if you're paying attention to your data and you start filtering it the right way, you can see things that are amazing. Yeah. I have a chart that I made based on water temperature. It's one of my other tabs. I have a few tabs at the bottom just for filtering data, and I update those as well. And it was amazing to see with all the fish I catch, you can see the water temperatures where my pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn all hit. It's amazing to see just based on numbers. You can see this huge drop at post-spawn, and it's not like I'm stopping fishing during that time.
No,
I'm out there. Right through it. I'm out there. Yeah, I'm fishing right through it every year.
Yep.
And you just see these numbers reflect that the fish are not worried. They're worried about recovery.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%.
It's amazing, and it's not by a month or a day or any human-based thing. It's by water temperature.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to see, and that helps you learn. But it's amazing to see what data, if you collect it for long enough and you have this raw data, how you can manipulate it and see what you're doing, what the fish are doing, what your tendencies are, what their tendencies are. It's amazing. I can't give anybody a better tip at all. The one other thing I would like to add to this too, with me being number one in competitive sports for a number of years, up until my body said enough of that shit, and still playing video games, dude, if you're keeping it just for yourself and you're not a competitive fisherman, you can beat your own high score every year.
Yeah.
Or every month or length. You can make up whatever little fucking side game you want. Because I have a couple other tabs that are like total species or total number of fish for the year broken down by species. I like beating that every year or trying to making a run at it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I keep records for like the most fish per species I've caught every year. So like I think there was this year I tied my personal best for fall fish. I caught 2 of them. Very happy with that record. Right. But it's stupid, but it's a little, you know what it is? Like
side quest.
Side quest.
Yes.
You get applause.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Name of the game, man.
Side quests. So
friggin' A.
There, appealing to all my gamer friends out there. That's all I got, man. I don't know. I mean, we've gone on for 45 minutes about this. I really can't hit this home any harder. Everybody can benefit from doing this as long as you're honest and do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You miss once, you miss twice, all of a sudden your data's at peril because, you're missing information.
It's only as good as the info you have in there.
Correct. Just like any database. So.
And it'll take you a couple of years to be able to even see any sort of patterns. You got to put some data in there, especially if you're only fishing, 3 or 4 times every single month. Throughout a year, those trips go by fast. So, it's just a matter of being diligent and doing it. But good luck getting, with your records, guys. Go ahead and do your best with it. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to contact us. And I'm sure that Sean will be more than happy to help guide you if need be. And, hopefully you guys can improve your situations on the water by learning, what's that Dr. Phil says? The highest indicator of future performance is past outcomes.
Yes. And also, if anybody does contact me for any questions or concerns or whatever over this database or keeping your own or whatever, I will answer any questions as long as you provide proof that you have signed some sort of a federal fucking document trying to ban daylight savings and clock changes. Otherwise, fuck you.
Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
I had to pull the trigger on that one, man. It was so perfect.
Oh, we're idiots.
Oh, that was great, dude.
Well, from one rant to another, have I got some chickabee shit for everybody today?
I love some let me sit down Indian style on the floor, like it's story time.
Bobby, you have not heard this yet, so we're going to get some true reaction from you. I'm actually going to start with some West Springfield shit first.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a good place.
Okay. This was This was on the tail end of my ride home. Okay, I had to stop in West Springfield to drop off one of my friends, one of my son's friends, and one of my friends apparently. All right, so this was the second incident on the way home.
Mm-hmm.
We had 2 incidents on the way home. It was dark. This was a main road.
Yep.
And this is similar to something that I've talked about that happened to me in Oklahoma. On Route 5 in West Springfield, extremely busy road. We were at one of the points where there wasn't a lot of lights, right up against the river in West Springfield, in between, you know where that McDonald's is and shit. What's south of that? Whatever. We were going north right before that McDonald's, and I almost killed a human being today because they were wearing all black and they crossed that road. They were going over the guardrail to the other side of the road. I'm like, they're going to fucking die.
Yeah.
That was incident number 2.
Yikes.
Very upsetting to me because something similar happened in Oklahoma where I was driving on a long country road with no lights and a girl wearing all black at 10 o'clock at night, walking her black dog right next to the road. I didn't even see her. I almost killed her. All right. I don't want to commit vehicular homicide.
No.
I don't want anything to do with hurting another human being because I don't see them. That's not cool. All right. So there's our safety lecture portion of Fuck That Guy. Now let's get to the real Fuck That Guy. Are you ready for this, Bobby?
I'm ready.
Cruising through Chicopee after dropping off my son's friend number 1.
Gotcha.
Cruising. Pitch black. What's coming up the other side of the road for me, going with the traffic. Thankfully, this was a 4-lane road, so it was far enough away.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for whoever was on the other side of the road, though, having to deal with this. You know those little mini motorcycles that are about 2 feet long that the Shriners drive?
Oh, my God. Yes.
Going down the road, no headlights, and the driver was a young teenager who had his hood pulled up, and like I couldn't tell if it was a clown or a Richard Nixon mask on.
Oh my God, are you serious?
With no muffler, so it was Bwah! And I said to my son and his friend, what the fuck was that?
You know what would have been perfect right about that moment?
What?
Using crack and cocaine to get high. That's what you say you know.
So I don't know what I saw. I try really, really hard. And sometimes I've even like stopped you a couple times. Now we were a little short on change with the Fuck That Guy this week. So this helped doing this, but we try to keep it fishing related. But some things transcend.
Some things are universal.
I don't know what happened. Fuck that guy. Fuck everyone. He risked his own life and risked their safe driving records. That's some Chicopee shit right there. So that's all I got.
Yeah, that's rough, man. That's rough. You know, my wife and my youngest daughter went to the social experiment in Ware, Massachusetts today. By that I mean Walmart. And
that one's not bad. That's probably the best in the area.
That's why they went. They're like, it's the most. They'll deal with the Ware, Massachusetts, because it's the best situation for a Walmart. And they wanted to go. They were looking for something specific. I forget what it was, but they didn't have it. They came back with a bunch of other garbage. And they had, on the way out, you know, I got a phone call on the way back. They're like, oh, it's gorgeous out. It's like 65. It's beautiful, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, so how are all the Ware residents, like, handling all this? Like, how's this all working out? And she says, she goes, yeah, we've seen a number of people walking around with no shirts. Which, you know, that's the thing. This, I feel like for my wife, she's a native of Athol, Massachusetts, which has a very similar, like, I don't know if it's like a mating ritual or what it is, but it starts, and I don't know what the expected response is. If people that are like, oh, it's over 50 degrees and it's March, it's time to put on, you know, the freaking farmer. It's time to lose the shirts and walk around in the breakdown lanes. I don't know.
I'm always guilty of, if it's over like 30 degrees, I wear shorts.
Boy, that's a thick ass boy. Damn.
Yeah, anything over 30 degrees, I'll wear shorts and I get looked at.
Yeah.
Sometimes people say shit. but it's more comfortable for me. Like I don't mind it. My legs don't get cold. I got fucking skinny chicken legs. There's nothing to get cold.
Honestly, like you don't really need to worry about like your shins. Like you really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a time when I went fishing on Thursday, it was freaking 25 degrees. And I was wearing thermals, ups and upper layer and lower layer, and my regular pants, wool socks, the whole nine. And I was comfortable. I was wearing layers, But it's like, yeah, I hear you, man.
I don't mind the shorts. Whatever reason, I don't get cold. My legs never get cold. My body gets cold.
Yeah, my body will get cold. I got to keep my midsection.
Under 30, if I'm ice fishing, like if I'm just running errands, and I'm in and out of my truck. I'm fine with shorts. It doesn't bother me. If it's like snowing or something, I'm not wearing shorts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But shirtless and wear, that's a new one.
Shirtless and wear. Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, it's wild. Yikes. So that was an interesting FTG. I think that's pretty interesting.
Richard Nixon on a mini bike.
Fucking A. I'm not a crook. That's awesome. Oh, guys.
I am not white trash.
Yes, you are, you son of a bitch. Yes, you are. Guys, we're going to take a real quick break. When we come back, we have the actual audio recording from the Old Glory Outdoors open house where Nate gives his breakdown on fresh baits. All kinds of good stuff that you guys are not going to want to miss. But before we take that break, we have some tournament stuff to go through. Take it away, Sean.
We got a little teaser going on here. So I have been in contact with our fine friends at Fishing Chaos, and they have assured me that things are going to be ready to rock for April. It is not up for registration yet.
Soon.
Registration, as soon as we have the word, we are going to start dropping Instagram videos. Bobby said he was going to make a reel shirtless or doing something earlier. I don't know what's going on. We'll make sure we throw that. Yeah, we'll throw that in there too on the side. Yeah, so we're going to be rocking and rolling. The scoring is going to change for both Jigs and Bigs and Chronic Trips.
Yep.
We're making it a little easier, and we're also leveling the playing field just a tad. So we're going to see a lot more people in it to win it.
Yeah.
Okay. These are multi-species tournaments. We want to focus more on that. Not, there may be a bonus for the biggest fish, but there's only going to be one. Not 4, 3, 2, 1 anymore. We've got some things in the works. We're waiting to hear back from Fishing Chaos. As soon as I do, we're putting it up there, open it for registration, and April 1st, shit gets going.
It gets very real. Very, very
real. Shit gets real. Yes.
Yep, it's going to be good. April is going to be a huge month. Very excited about it. I made sure to drop a video about it today. Had some new stuff that I had put up on the video screen promoting it as well. I'm looking forward to it. I think everybody's looking forward to it. So if you're not currently a Fishing Chaos member, download that app and get ready. Consider signing up for the regular subscription, because then you can just enter whatever you want willy-nilly. You don't have to worry about extra fees and adding up and like, oh, it cost me so much. I think it's like $12 for the year, something like that, I want to say.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like $12 for the year.
Was it more? I thought it was like more than that. No,
I don't know.
Can't remember.
I forget exactly. It's reasonable. Whatever it is, it is
crazy.
reasonable. If you're going to enter a couple of tournaments, like it makes it worthwhile. It might be.
If
like
you're
16.
in for the Jigs and Bigs and the Chronic Trips, that's April, May, June, July, August, September, October. That's 7. You just save $2.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're going to enter something like the knockout tournament, something like that, that's a great idea. That cash in.
Speaking
on that.
Of which.
Yep.
If anybody is in New England and still getting going on that, the drawing for the pairings is going to be happening in a week or two.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's on the 20th. Am I right on that? I don't know. It's listed on Fishing Chaos. You can see it right there. I think it was the 20th. I should know this as I'm the fucking director of the tournament. Whatever.
Yep.
It's not going to, we're not doing the drawing on April 1st. The tournament fishing starts on April 1st. The drawing for the matchups will be beforehand. If you are interested in getting in on this, get in on it. If you're in New England, this is New England only.
Yep.
All right. Get in on it soon. So if you're on the fence, do it now. Do it. And then get rid of daylight savings.
Fuck daylight savings.
Fuck daylight savings.
It's almost over, man. Next week.
Fuck that. It never ends because it'll be next year.
I know. But we're almost out of it. It's okay.
Fish in the Sticks, $43 for the full subscription. It's I thought it was like $40 too.
Yeah, I thought it was much less than that, but I might. Then again, I might be thinking of just one tournament. So,
dude, I pay so many membership fucking
I
things.
know.
I don't know what's what. I just know, okay, I got to be part of this, do that. And there's certain things. So, so get in on that. I think the fees are like $3 to $4, right? So if you do 10 tournaments, you're good to go. Something like that. Whatever. I'd have to do the math. Doing math
I think it actually might even depend on the tournament because I think some of the EKF ones are a little bit more expensive. Some of the larger ones are a little bit different. I'm not 100% sure, but that's exactly why having the full subscription is great because then it doesn't matter. You just enter what you want, and
fucking paid.
You're good. Yeah. In fact, by having that membership, in a lot of ways, if you're like, I want to make sure I use it, this is a good way to just go for it. Like, I'll enter this one,
Yep,
and then I'm only paying whatever fees have to come in, not any additional. So anyway, guys, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we've got Nate, we've got fresh baits galore, and we're going to put a nice little nightcap on this show for you guys. So we'll see you guys in just a bit. Jigs and Bigs is proud to announce that we're being supported by Three Bells Outfitters. Located in Smith Cove on the Niantic River, TBO is Connecticut's premier paddle sports retailer. They're a full-service shop specializing in kayaks and paddleboards for everything from recreation to tournament fishing. Three Bells is an authorized dealer of Hobie, Jackson, Feel Free, Native, and Bonafide kayaks, as well as many paddleboard brands. Not sure of what kind of SUP or kayak you want? TBO offers free demos of all brands. Want to go for an extended test drive? They have a full-service rental facility on site. Three Bells also offers a complete rigging service for your kayak with such brands as Yak Attack, Yak Gear, Burley Pro, Yak Power, Torpedo, and more. The sky is the limit. You can visit Three Bells Outfitters in person or online at threebellsoutfitters.com. They ship anywhere in the lower 48 states or order online and pick up at the store. Can't make it to the store to pick up your kayak or worried the freight company might damage your purchase? Three Bells Outfitters offers a white glove delivery of kayaks within a 225-mile radius of their store at a rate less than typical freight carriers. They will deliver your kayak, set it up, and answer any questions you may have. Be sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to tell them Jigs and Bigs sent you. Three Bells Outfitters, because life is better on the water. All right, guys, welcome back to Jigs and Bigs. We've got this segment here in lieu of a regular interview. We've got amazing friend of the show, the one and only Nate Chagnon. He is, he's on the pro staff and he represents for Fresh Baitz. Fresh Baitz is a local Massachusetts company that is really kind of innovating some soft plastics. They're offering some real unique and different shapes and as well as like some amazing color combinations. So, if you haven't heard of Fresh Baitz, first off, are you living under a rock? There's great stuff out there.
If you are, you might be a scorpion.
If you are, you might be a scorpion. Or you may be living underneath the rock that's in this Abu Garcia box here on my desk that needs to go to Tim O'Keefe. I don't know.
You might be living under a rock in the water. You could be a Hellamite.
You might be.
You might be.
Anyway, their baits are absolutely awesome, and Nate is very, very, very passionate about them. He gave a little seminar kind of breaking down the way he uses them, and it was really great to see. And as luck would have it, I happened to record his entire seminar about these plastics right here and showing them off. So give it a listen. Check out the baits at a shop near you. If they don't have them, you can always check out Old Glory Outdoors, or check out Fresh Baitz on Instagram. Their Instagram is just, if you want to get a good look of what they've got to offer, check them out there. They've got a website as well, and get yourself some Fresh Baitz. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and kick it over to Nate.
All right. I guess we'll start with the first bait, they ever came out with, which was the Scorpion. And I've never seen another company that throws the Scorpion. Me, myself, I throw it a few ways. Obviously, the first way, you've seen them post a ton of videos of it. They do it with the owner stand-up jig. You can actually get it online right at their website. And this rig, it really makes it stand up nice for them. You can see if I can get it in the pool, the way that tail just stands up and flicks. I mean, I'd throw this really rocky, like Champlain, places like Mesa, working rock piles. You know, it almost gives that craw imitation with the way the tail will move throughout the water. They just seem to love it, the way those craws float and the claws come up. But my personal favorite way to throw it, and it has won me quite a bit of money. I mean, this one rig alone brought me in third down in Alabama in a national event. I take it and I actually rip the tail off at the last segment before the tail starts, and I'll go ahead and throw that on a jackhammer chatterbait. Now, I've taken this bait and I've put it side by side with a Zacho with a X-Zone Adrenaline craw, and I've ran them on 3 different rods at once. I have safely found this triples the vibration. The way it rolls off that blade and hits the 6 legs that stick out from the skirt easily doubles, triples that vibration. And that's key when you're going for those big bass up shallow and 6 inches. You want that good vibration to start the second you crank it. You had a question, buddy?
Why did you cut off the bottom?
Just so that it fits the head better. If you had the tail out, the vibration, the tail would kind of get in the way and mess it up. So you just clip that off so that it rolls smoothly right off there. You guys can actually come feel it if you want. I mean, just drag it. See the way it swims. What's up, Jeremiah?
No, Jeremiah Johnson.
All right, what's up?
Tell everybody that my name is Jeremiah Johnson. That's
No. That was JoJo.
My name's Jackson, and I'm work on it.
Yes.
My name's Jackson the Great. My name's Jackson the Great. Wait, we should put the crawfish. We should put
So next bait I want to talk about that they have is the Fresh Baits Beetle. Now, I throw this a lot as a jig trailer. You know, if I'm throwing a big, heavy jig, deep water, I'll put it on that, gives that slow flap. But the main time I'm using this, it is my go-to flipping bait. The way it mimics a dying bluegill with that slow, big flap going down through the trees, it's done amazing for me. And actually, X-Zone came out with an arrowhead flipping weight that fits the head of this perfectly. And I mean, it sits perfect on top of that and gives it just that one strict, tied together presentation when it's coming down through the tree. So I'll put this in the water and let you guys see how it flaps, kind of swimming around. On this, I'm throwing a quarter, but I'll throw it up to an ounce. I was punching this down in Florida and stuff. And I mean, it's big for me. Every one of their baits, it floats. So you can see, I mean, when that hits the bottom, it stands up perfect and gives that just aggressive look to it as you're popping that in and out of the tree. That's what they're looking for, man. They're looking for that aggressive stance. If it just kind of lays flat, you know, that just kind of looks like an already dead bait fish. They're looking for that little bit of kick. And I mean, even in grass, you flip this up in grass and just slowly work it back to you on a twitch, and that just mimics that dying bluegill so perfectly. What's up, buddy?
fish have you caught with that?
With this bait, I'd say probably over 150 in the past 2 years.
That's a lot.
Probably. About. We're going to talk about your favorite bait next, and that is the Fresh Baits worm. Now, the biggest thing I love about these Fresh Bait worms is quite a bit. I actually caught 5-pounder at the beginning of the year off this exact bait last year. Now, I don't know if you guys notice when I hold this up, so when it hits the water, that color changes quite a bit. That's a special, pour they do. I've never thrown another worm like this. It's so light action for skipping that it almost, if I just go like that, it'll almost sit on top of the water. That when you skip that thing, you get an aggressive, flapping skip right up. Sounds like bait fish crushing up under the dock. And just, they have it in their Charmeleon worm sells out immediately. But if you can't get your hands on that, the perch and the rainbow trout color, second they hit the water, when that color changes and you really see the spots, they mimic a perch and a rainbow trout just perfectly. A lot of times I'll fish this clear water. This is actually, I was skipping this at Candlewood up under docks last year. I put up 92 inches pre-fishing on this one bait. Just Nico rigged, working it nice and slow, giving it kicks. I'll also take these, and if it's like a really rough bite, not working well, I will flip these Senkos as well. If they're not really going for the bigger baits, I'll hook them up and flip them. But I want to spend a little bit of extra time talking about the new bait that I'm sure you guys have all seen on the table and everything, and that will be the Helamite. Now, this bait, oh man, I can't even tell you how excited I was when they first sent me the photo of this thing and said it was coming. Anybody that knows me knows, that chatterbait stays glued to my hand, but there's really only one other bait I'll throw when that chatterbait ain't hitting, and that's this drop shot. And this drop shot, I took it down to Lake Murray, South Carolina, and almost every fish I got down at Murray came off this one bait alone. I brought it down to Florida, and they were eating it good in Florida. I got a 3-pounder on it, up shallow, just working it as a drop shot. It also works as a Ned. But I don't know if you guys can see that. When I stop this drop shot, if I'm fishing a bed or something, and I stop this drop shot, it noses right down. And that I found was huge bed fishing down in South Carolina, because it gave it more of that, living creature. When it stops over that bed and it looks down and it starts to nose down, that fish can automatically think it's another fish, smelling the fry, smelling the eggs, whatever it is, and they're going to move in on it big. I was also throwing it on a Ned, and same thing. You pause it, and it stands up straight, and they were loving it. The thing I love about this probably the most, that I find it different from any other Ned bait I throw, is the little arms and the little pendants on the end of the tail. I first realized those were going to be really good. I was making a run down the Kissimmee chain in Florida, and I had this bait sitting on the nose of the kayak, and I'm pedaling away doing about 4.5 miles an hour, and I looked at that bait, and I saw the legs and the tail just giving a little shake, and it automatically clicked the action it was going to give as I was twitching it slow on that drop shot. And I was sight fishing them, and you were watching it, you cast past it, work it back. Second you stopped and it nosed down, you'd watch the fish just gills flare up. They'd come flying in after it. I honestly think this is going to be the bait that wins me the most amount of money this year in any tournament I've been in. From the 2 places I've already thrown it, I can't wait to get it up into smallie country and start throwing this thing for smallmouth. But I also, down in Florida, the bite got really hard one day. I actually took the Ike's mini flipping jig, and I put that on as a trailer. Trimmed the skirt, put that on as a trailer, And, you know, it just gave it just the right slow action to that jig as you were dragging it. Not too much, not too aggressive. You know, we had a cold front roll in. It dropped to 28 degrees, so those fish were really shut down. And I found, you know, I was flipping a jig probably all day, day one. Didn't have a single bite on it. I was throwing it with a fluke trailer and then something else, and it hit me. Just put the Helamite on and let that tail do its thing. And I caught 2 or 3, you know, flipping that jig up under docks with this as a trailer as well. So, I mean, every one of their baits, I mean, I could look at each one of these and tell you in a event I won money off them. I don't think I go out without anything tied on. If anybody wants to come up, play with one in the pool, you can feel free. Use one of my rods, tap it around, see how it feels. But besides that, yeah, I mean, that's basically all I got, you know.
Yep. That's going to do it for this week's Jigs and Bigs. It was jam-packed full of fun. I mean, you can't leave an event like the Old Glory and Hooks at Hoodlum's open house, go round and not walk away with tons of stuff to talk about, amazing good times, great people, great information, fantastic brands, fantastic baits, all kinds of good stuff. So I'm glad we were able to bring that to you guys this week. Lots of good stuff coming up. Lots of really, really good info in this episode too. If you guys made it this far and you're serious about getting serious about fishing this year, that info about keeping a database is just it's pinnacle to making a difference. So definitely want to go and make sure that you start applying some of what you learned here out on the water, because before you know it, we're going to have open water, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Lots of good outings, lots of plans, some truck camping. That's coming. That's my big thing to work on this week is I want to get my sleep situation straightened out.
Nice,
because we got a couple of big outings going. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
We do. We have. Can I mention something? A little teaser.
Go for it. Tease away.
One of our upcoming tournaments that you and I are both going to be going out for. You actually said, "Hey man, we can't record. It's going to be a bitch because you got a lot of travel." You said, "Fuck it, man. I'm going to truck camp out with you. And we're going to fish this thing."
Yeah.
You may or may not fish the tournament, but you'll be out there having a good time, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna fish. I'm gonna catch some. We'll see what happens.
We're going to have our first Jigs and Bigs fireside chat.
Yeah,
coming up.
Very
first.
This
what is it? June, right? June?
Is that one in June? I think it's in June. Yeah, I think it's in June. I think it's in late June.
Our fireside conversation. We're gonna get classy.
It'll be fun.
Fuckers.
And
we're gonna.
Don't we have a couple of the MAKB guys that'll be with us as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. To save some money, Nelson and I kind of banded up with a couple of guys that we fish with, and when it comes to EKF events, we'll be doing some traveling with them because we are going super cheap. I know a lot of guys go out and get hotel rooms and they have a nice little trip. Gas just hit fucking $4.20 a gallon.
Yeah, it's gonna be higher in the summer.
Yeah, we all kind of talked about this a little while ago and really solidified plans with it this week. But we're being as cheap as fucking possible. So if you're fishing EKF events,
yep.
I'll be fishing them, but I might not see everybody because we're going back out into the woods and fucking. Honestly,
hang on. You got to put some punctuation in there. You're not going out into the back of the woods and fucking. You said you're going back into the woods, comma, fucking whatever.
We're going to be going through the 15 gallons of barbecue sauce I have. Also not while fucking.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're going to be making a lot of barbecue. We're going to have fires. We're going to eat good. We're going to catch some goddamn fish. And that's our summer.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
Sex.
Yeah.
With each other. No sex with each other. Let me make that clear. If you're looking for some sort of brutal fishing orgy out in the woods at any EKF event, do not ask where I am at because that's not going to be what we're doing.
I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad this is right here at the end of the show because I feel like it's just that little nugget, that chef's kiss of quality comedy, right? Because you said that and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we're not staying at bathhouses. What is a bathhouse?
What even is a bathhouse?
I don't fucking know.
Oh, maybe we'll open one up. That'll be our thing. Let's go to Iowa and raise sheep. It'll be awesome.
Jigs and Big's bathhouse. We'll make some money. It'll be great.
Oh, man. This summer's got a lot. You know?
EKF members, 50% off.
God damn it. I am considering some lavalier microphones so that we don't actually have to sit there by the fireplace with our headphones on, holding these things, holding mics and the whole 9 yards. I'm considering a few different things. This is going to be really, really exciting. One other thing that I do want to mention is this. Jigs and Bigs is looking to get on the road as much as possible. We're talking right now about doing a little bit of a live show in Rhode Island, and then we're looking beyond that too. So this is a little call to action. We're going to be getting this out even more. But if you're listening to this show and you're like, one of these Jigs and Bigs live events would be really, really amazing here. If you know of a spot that just makes sense, and what are we talking about for spots? We're talking about tackle shops, a local VFW hall near a spot, in a location where there's a lot of fishing activity. This is a great place for us to be. So if you know of one of these places, something that you think would work out well, or we can fit maybe 100 people or so and some vendor tables and just have a great time recording a live show, definitely let us know. Hit us up, guys. If you're following us on Instagram, you can shoot us a DM. Love to hear from you there. You can also email us, jigsandbigs413@gmail.com. Jigsandbigs.com, of course, there's a contact us form. You can fill that out as well. So we want to hit the road. Now you're laughing. What's going on?
We'll be offering discounts to whoever hires us to do this shit if there are bathhouses in the area.
Maybe we'll bring an inflatable bathhouse. Who knows?
Maybe we'll record at a bathhouse.
Maybe. I don't know.
Jigs and Bigs OnlyFans coming soon. Coming misspelled.
That's
it's fucking vile.
It is. There's something wrong. There's something wrong with that. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up. It's been an amazing show. Thank you so much for checking this one out. As always, you guys have yourself an amazing week. We will see you next time. That open water is going to be here before you know it. If you have the ability, get out there and catch some fish. If you've still got safe ice, go out and catch some fish, man. Do your thing. And we will see you next time on the next Jigs and Bigs. Until then, tight lines.
There's that. There's not the Subway going. There's that. There's not the Subway going. A good old kielbasa country. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.